Tony Dungy from Football Night in America. Been a while since we've had Tone on, and ready to talk some football. Tony, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing well, Dan. Good to talk to you. It has been a while.
All right, let me dive into this Deshaun Jackson topic here because I was listening to Bill Polian last night, and he was talking about that the Colts either took Deshaun Jackson off their draft board or moved him down. That was your last draft with the Colts. What do you remember of Deshaun Jackson?
I don't remember a lot of the specifics, but I do remember some questions we had just in terms of, how he's going to fit in and what type of player he's going to be. He turned out to be a great player, but I think the undertone you hear is, how does he fit into the locker room? What is he doing to make the team better or not make the team better? And obviously something is going on there. No one lets a player like that go. Just for reasons of money, I don't think.
But how many guys do you think that you had who had gang-related ties, knew somebody in a gang, and is that a red flag for you?
I don't know that's necessarily a red flag. So many of our kids are growing up that way in that environment, and, it's something that you have to work your way through and deal with. But I think it more comes down to what's going on in the locker room. How is this impacting the team on a daily basis?
Well, I can't believe that they released him just because of that. But it seemed like that was a convenient excuse to get rid of a guy who had an unbelievable year last year.
Well, Dan, when somebody's playing that well for you, it isn't just something trivial that caused you to release him. Nobody is giving up that many yards and that many touchdowns and just saying, hey, there might be something under the radar. I have to think it's something that went on during the course of the year that involved, the team and how people were perceiving him and what was going on there. I don't know. I can't speak to it, but I just know as a coach, there are things that you can get around and work around for really productive players. So this had to be something that didn't sit well with the Philadelphia organization and Chip Kelly.
Don't you think that this is a bigger picture with Chip Kelly, that Chip probably feels like his system makes stars? Look at the kids at Oregon. I mean, he doesn't have great wide receivers there. He made them better with his system. Do you think he feels the same way in Philadelphia, that he doesn't need to spend $10 million for a wide receiver?
I don't know if it's that or if it's more of, hey, we've got certain ways we do things, and you have to fit into the program here. I saw this with Jeremiah Masoli, my son's first year out there. Masoli was a guy who people thought was possibly going to win the Heisman Trophy.
Yeah.
And he didn't do things the way Chip wanted them done, and consequently he wasn't on the team. So I think there is some of that he doesn't feel like any one player is bigger than the team or bigger than the system. But I do know Chip has certain expectations that he expects his players to live up to.
We're talking to Tony Dungy from Football Night in America. Michael Vick going to the Jets. Is he going there thinking he's going to start?
Well, I believe he's going there thinking he's going to start. I don't know what the Jets feel and if this is just insurance or whatever. But I don't think Michael, if he didn't think he was going to start, there would be no reason to leave Philadelphia. So I think he's going there with every intention of playing well, of being there this offseason, of becoming the starter. I do think if it doesn't work out that way, if he ends up being second team, that he will help Geno Smith. He'll be a team player. But I don't think he's going there just to take a backup role.
Mike Zimmer, the Vikings' new head coach, didn't like Johnny Manziel's pro day. Thought it was kind of a sideshow. Didn't like that he's doing these commercials. Had music piped in there. You had the former president there. What was your takeaway from Manziel's pro day?
Well, that's a lot of the new era player, and some of that you have to take just as is. That's how some of these young guys are. Old school people, especially around the quarterback position. I could see where that would bother some people. I think if you take Johnny Manziel, you have to be ready to take it all. You have to build your offense around what's going to highlight his skills and be ready to spread the ball out, be ready to let him improvise. And then you have to take some of this new wave attitude. He's going to be a leader on your team, no doubt. He's going to do it a different way. The camouflage shorts, the music, all of that's going to go with the territory. So if you aren't one who can buy into that, it's probably best not to take Johnny Manziel because that's definitely what you're going to get.
Well, there's this fine line of confidence and arrogance, and I think that that's what people have a hard time with Manziel. If you sat down with him, what's the one thing that you need to know if you would have him as your quarterback?
Is he going to be a great teammate? Is he going to make his other personnel around him better? That's all you want to know as a quarterback. Everybody's got personality quirks. Everybody does it a little differently. And some of that you have to get used to. I remember when I was a young coach, and we got a receiver from University of Texas. He was a track guy, and he came in with the tights and had an earring on. And we said, oh, this is not going to go over well with Coach Knoll. But to the contrary, Coach said, hey, you've got to be able to look at new things. You got to judge the person for who he is. And it surprised me. But 5 years later, everybody was wearing the compression tights and everybody had earrings. And that wasn't anything that bothered Coach. He just said, you got to look at the individual player and see if he's ready to put his goals and his feelings behind the team, not get rid of him and not lose his personality, but make sure he puts it behind the team. And that would be my question for Johnny if I was thinking of draft.
Where would you play Jadeveon Clowney? What position?
I would play him at right defensive end, and let him be a Dwight Freeney just disruptor. I think he's going to be special. I do have the concern that special defensive players usually show it all the time. You couldn't take a film out of Lawrence Taylor or Mike Singletary in college where they didn't dominate every single game they're in. No matter how many people are blocking them, whether they ran away from you or whatever, you saw that specialness. I saw that in Clowney 2 years ago. I didn't see it all the time last year, but I do think he has special talent, and I think he's going to be a force at the NFL level.
I don't know if he'll – I don't know. It depends on who drafts him, but I see.
And who coaches him. Yeah, he's got to have John Turlink, Rod Marinelli, some of the defensive line coaches that I've been around that will get that out of him. But yeah, that's your question. When they start chipping you and cutting you with backs and using the tackle on the tight end and cutting you and chipping you, are you going to still be coming 100 miles an hour every play? That's going to be the question.
Well, and you were fortunate to have Mathis and Freeney. You had speed guys there. But that has the game changed that it's not, you don't have to be 300 pounds or 290 playing defensive end. You got to be 265 playing that position.
Well, no, not necessarily. I mean, Clowney is Mathis and Freeney. He's just bigger. He's got the same type of skills. Now, does he have the same motor? Dwight Freeney came in and had double-digit sacks his first year. After that, he never saw any single block. Is that going to slow you down? And is Clowney going to be the type that says, well, hey, they're double teaming me, they're chipping me, so somebody else has to get there? Or are you going to play through it? That's what the great ones do, and that's the question mark on Clowney. We talked about Manziel's question mark. That, to me, is Jadeveon. Are you going to play through it when all the attention is on you, all the focus, people game plan to stop you? Are you still going to get it done? And he has the talent to do that. Does he have that will and that drive?
Well, why are the Patriots bringing in Johnny Manziel?
I think Bill Belichick is intrigued by those kind of guys. Why do you bring in Randy Moss? Why do you bring in Corey Dillon? Why do you bring in Aaron Hernandez? He likes talent, and he feels like if you're willing to subject yourself to the team, he can work with them. And he's had success with a lot of those types of people. He doesn't have success with everybody.
Yeah, but he's not drafting Johnny Manziel. He won't get him.
Well, he probably won't get him. Manziel probably won't make it to him, but he's got to look and see if he does make it to him. Is he interested? And that's the $1 million question.
Yeah, can't see that happening.
Do you think it's a smoke screen?
Well, I don't know what Jim Harbaugh said. He loved Johnny Manziel. I just think it's guys at the bottom of the draft who are sort of putting pressure on people at the top of the draft. Who knows about this gamesmanship? Plus, I don't trust what anybody says. I mean, Mike Zimmer rips Manziel. They got the 8th pick in the draft. I think he's trying to devalue Manziel so he'll be there with the 8th pick in the draft. That's how crazy I'm thinking.
Is some of that. No, you can't figure people out. Everybody's got an angle. But everybody's different. Some people will be enthralled by Manziel and say this is the greatest thing that could happen to us. Some, especially old school people, might not. So you never know. But there is that smoke screen effect that I think you can get from people at the bottom of the draft. No question about it.
You can't lie. But did you lie when you were the Colts coach about what you were doing?
I wouldn't lie about what we're doing. I just wouldn't say anything at all. And that's what you have to do. But no, I wouldn't say I really liked Johnny Manziel when I didn't, or vice versa. I'd have to be truthful about it.
You couldn't be a GM though in the league.
Probably not.
Because you can't lie, Tony.
Not a good one. Anyway.
No, you can't lie.
Not a good one. Well, I would just have to avoid a lot of questions, I think.
I'll see you in a couple of weeks, right?
Yeah, looking forward to that. Can't wait to catch up, find out how Russia was, and all that.
I was glad to. There's a scene in the movie Argo as the plane is taking off at the end of the movie. That's sort of how we felt when we were on the plane leaving Sochi, Tony.
Well, we were glad to have you back, and I prayed every day. We wanted you to make it back safely. We need you.
Thank you, buddy. I will see you in a couple of weeks.
All righty.
That's
all right. Sounds good, Dan.
Tony Dungy, Football Night in America. He's a Hall of Fame finalist.